Good evening and welcome to Election Night. My name is Sergio Bustos. I'm the political editor at the Miami Herald.
And I'm editorial page editor Myriam Marquez with an update on today's elections. Well, Sergio, the polls are closed, but not quite closed, are they? There are still long, long lines. So, any surprises yet?
You know, the only surprise, Myriam, tonight is the massive, massive turnout in Florida. The voters have come out in droves, both early and absentee ballot voting, and we have lines here in Miami that are stretching in Brickell into the night and in other parts of the county.
Well, you know, the last time this was, I guess, Ross Perot is when we had really, really long night when it was Bill Clinton and that three-man race. So, all right, so despite the Republican legislature's attempts to try to kind of narrow the window on early voting, what we have is really the voters did not allow the obstacles to stop it. They went out, and in fact, in many precincts, that the lines are going to keep, as you said, going for a long, long time tonight, and it will be that way before we really have any returns. I don't think it's going to be before midnight till we know the presidency.
No, I say grab a big pot of hot coffee and stick to MiamiHerald.com because we're going to be here into the night and into Wednesday morning.
So let's talk a little bit about the congressional races. You've been really editing those stories, and you really know some of those players. What are the hotly contested races right now?
Yeah, there's really three races we're keeping an eye on here in South Florida. If you go up to Allen West and Patrick Murphy, they're up there in the Treasure Coast. That was supposed to be a runaway for Allen West. It's now become very close. Lois Frankel and Adam Hasner, a little closer here in Broward. That's a little closer to us. That too is supposed to be a tighter race, but it's leaning toward the Democrat Frankel. And then, of course, we've got our own race here in Miami with Joe Garcia and David Rivera. And that race, the internal polls show Joe Garcia is winning it.
It's another bizarre race, and Congressman Rivera and the Democratic candidate Garcia, they do not like one another, and this is the second time they run against one another, and it just sets out all kinds of feelings especially in the Cuban American community about those two candidates. But with redistricting, that has changed. I think that's the better chance for Garcia, because this new district now includes the Florida Keys.
Right, the Florida Keys is not as the Cuban American vote is not as big there, obviously, and so some of those Cuban issues may not resonate as much for someone like Rivera as it would maybe in the previous election.
So, any other surprises at this time as far as local charter amendments or bond referendums? It looks likely that the Miami-Dade schools bond issue is going to pass. It's pretty, polls are showing. What about the constitutional amendments?
You know, what's interesting about this whole thing with the charter amendments, voters that we've talked to, we've got about 25 reporters out today all over Miami-Dade and Broward counties. At least in Miami-Dade, people are pretty disgusted with the long ballot. So some of these measures might go down not on merit, just on plain tired voters who just want to get out of the polling places.
Well, and there's two in particular that are very much social issues, Amendment 6 and 8, and one has to do with abortion funding, and Amendment 8 has to do with the issue of getting rid of the Blaine Amendment, which was really, the Catholic Church is saying, look, this is not about vouchers and school funding, it is about our prison ministry, and there was a court case, and we want to make sure that this doesn't interfere with funding that we get, and a lot of, Jewish organizations, Protestant organizations get state and federal funding to help with some of the work that they do, good causes. Well, to me, it's still the camel's nose under the tent, and I think the bar is so high to pass constitutional amendments in Florida, it's now 60% that you need to pass one, that it will be difficult to get them done, I think.
And the fact that the ballot's so long with these amendments makes it that much more difficult.
Well, I guess the night is young, right? And we're going to be here for a while, so we'll be back in the next hour and with an update, and hopefully we'll have a lot more information for you.